You can make a little finger grow out of the grass. This is tantra. There are situations where they will plant a seed, a mango seed is planted. Tantrics make it grow right there and bear fruit within a matter of hour or two. If he arrives at it, which I believe they will, if I spend a little time with them, I would tell you whether they've arrived or not. If they arrive at it, it can be most productive spiritually.
If you are in a state of turiya, we say you are a mrutyunjay. That means you're deathless. Because if you can be awake in your sleep, you will also be awake when you have to shed the body.
You master your mortality if you just manage to stay awake when you slip into sleep.
Just like that, from wakefulness to sleep. If you can do it that way, that's it, you're mrutyunjay, because there's no death for you.
There are two dimensions of human life. One is the human being is supposed to just be. And of course, there is human doing. The human being wants to do. If you want to do something in the world, the larger and more vivid your dream is, the better. If you have a weak dream, every day it keeps changing, then that's not going to manifest. So when you want action, you need a dream. You have heard that famous speech, "Yes, I have a dream." And it did tremendous things. It changed the whole nation. It changed a culture completely just because somebody has a dream. So when it comes to action in the world, you need a dream, otherwise how? But everybody need not have a dream. If everybody has their own private dreams, they become fantasies and it'll go somewhere else. A man who's conscious must generate a dream. You want me to complete the dream or have you woken up? This happens to dreams, isn't it? When you're sleeping, somebody comes and end of the dream. Now we are not talking about those dreams. Those dreams are just exaggerated replay of so many unfulfilled things within you. Most of the dreams that people go through in the night are just unfulfilled realities which will find all kinds of weird expressions. They're just simply random thoughts running most of the time. There are 4 different types of dreams, but a large part of the dream is just unfulfilled desire. We're not talking about that kind of dream. We're talking about creating a conscious dream which will manifest and function. Devi is actually a dream. I made her up, but she's real and she works. There's one culture in the world who kind of figured this right. In India, the expression is too sophisticated for people to understand, but a simple expression was found by the Aborigine people in Australia. They refer to the world and the making of the world as dream time. God dreamt it. It's not real. Even now, God is sitting and dreaming. All this that you're all sitting here is His dream. It's not real. It's a perfect description of creation. Very simple, but perfect. This is what here we said is Maya. This is what modern physics is trying to tell you, that existence is relative. It's relative to your dream. Not you as a person, but you as a being, it is true. So if a being creates a form, a dream is a form by itself. If he creates a form, it will manifest. Of course, it needs to be supported a bit, but once it's supported, it will always manifest. The whole dimension of tantra is just this. In the West, the word tantra means… some fools have written books saying that tantra means unbridled promiscuity, okay? No, tantra means technology. The technology of creating. Tantra needs a very vivid imagination. It's like this. You can try this, you can spend some time on this. You don't pluck anything. You go sit near a tree or a blade of grass. Just vividly build the memory of this blade of grass 100% into your mind. It takes a lot of work, believe me. My whole childhood, I just sat there building the memory of small things into my mind. And just one thing, if you manage, I'll tell you, the memory of this little finger, if you build it into your mind becomes miraculous. When I say the memory, there are so many characteristics to this little finger. If you go micromillimeter by micromillimeter, observe every bit and build that memory into your mind becomes an explosive possibility. Now, if you want, you can make a little finger grow out of the grass. This is tantra. There are situations where they will plant a seed, a mango seed is planted. Tantrics make it grow right there and bear fruit within a matter of hour or two. Because it's a dream. The tree is anyway a dream, your body is anyway a dream, the universe anyway is a dream. In one level, it is a dream, it is relative. So this is what we said Maya. Maya does not mean it does not exist. Dream does not mean it does not exist. It is not the way you think it is. The way you're perceiving through your five sense organs, that's not the way it is. Its nature is different. So, when I'm talking about different things, I may say different things, but they're not different. Because you're looking at it with a discriminatory intellect, they're looking different for you. Right now you're sitting there on the ground. You may think, I am sitting here. The earth thinks, you're just a lump of itself. Who will be proved right one day? Right now you can say, no, that's not true, I can get up, I can walk, I can run, I can jump. But one day, when it sucks you back, the earth will laugh at you. So, it's best tonight you sit down and look at these three things. At the end of the day, you sit in your bed and look back on the whole day from the morning you got up, how you've been going around. You will see 90% of the time you're quite stupid. I'm being generous with percentage, believe me. If you're given little work, if you're just given little responsibility, suddenly you become so important. You become bigger than the universe suddenly. How many times you expanded beyond the size of the universe? If you look at it, you will see most of the time it's bloated. How many times you became immortal, that is, you're not conscious of your mortality? And how many times did you walk around looking at people and things around you without any sense of involvement? Just three things, you watch out. You will see, you will have to laugh through the night. Don't start crying. Just learn to laugh at your stupidity. You will see all the rubbish you carry will turn into manure very fast. And manure is good for growth, you know. Yes? Every day you do this, you will become wise, believe me, very wise. And I have a need for wise people. I'm looking for them. There are a whole lot of things to do, not enough wisdom. Let's grow them. Somebody who had an accident and vegetating, don't think in terms of they died and they were put back, that's not true. It is just that it might have so happened that the life force is so shocked, it is more projected outward than inward, making a decision to be or not to be. Not a philosophical question, a practical question whether the body is fit enough to be or not to be. So if it chose to be, it is not because of medical workers, they might assist. But it is the life which decides to stay because body is still hospitable. Maybe the medical workers make the body little more hospitable than what it would have been without their help. Very much possible. So they did not die, they were in a condition of to be or not to be, they were more projected outward than inward. Even now, you're partially outward projected, mostly inward projected. At that moment it might have been so that you were mostly outward projected, partially inward projected. Even after they're dead, not all of it is gone. If you do not know, we've been looking at this many times. Up to 11 to 14 days, a dead body grows its fingernails and its hair and everything. Because life recedes slowly, it doesn't just jump out. So you cannot spiritually declare somebody dead up to 14 days after the medical death. So, after doing this to be or not to be seesaw for some time, you said be. But the body is only hospitable enough to lie in the bed, not hospitable enough to get up and walk or do whatever a man or a woman is expected to do. I'm not speaking this in this regard, but I want you to look at it as a subject, not as an emotional thing, because then you will not look at it the right way. So if you call this vegetation, there are two kinds of vegetation. One is just the body is gone, but still everything in the mind is active. That can lead to a lot of suffering, because they can see, they can hear, they can smell, they can understand, but no ability to do anything. Talking is the last thing on their mind. They want to get up and walk. They're not able to respond. Body has become inert, but mind is still active. There are other kinds of states where body is in a reasonably good condition, but mind has become inert. So body cannot act. Body is in good condition. Mind was active, it would act, but mind has gone. The physical structure that is necessary to house the mind is gone. Something is broken, so mind is not finding accommodation, so cannot act. But the subtler aspects of the mind are still active. Only the mind that you decipher with, the mind with which you make judgment, the mind with which you are able to distinguish, that is gone. But the other mind, which simply rotates with the unconscious memory, that is still there. If that is not there, the body cannot be alive. So if a person lies down in a place for a very long time without a discriminatory mind, he may slowly become aware of that unconscious rotation of memory that is happening within him, which is keeping everything going. It's very much possible. I haven't spent enough time with such people. Once or twice when I saw, I felt there was something happening. They're not supposed to have a mind, but there's a whole lot of activity happening. So the unconscious nature of the mind might have come into a kind of awareness because the conscious mind is… the distinguishable mind is gone, so the other part may become apparent, which normally most people are not conscious of. So there may be no active suffering, but there may be some kind of a dazed state which many human beings enjoy very much. Why people want to drink, why they want to drug, why they want to remain in the bed after the sun has come up is they like that. And why they want to meditate. They like that. Moving between conscious and unconscious, the borderline, they like to dance on that a little bit. So alcohol, drugs, sleep, lethargy, excessive eating, sexuality, all these things give you that little bit of being on the borderline of neither this nor that. So actually, if his mind is just… the discriminatory mind is just shut out, actually he may be in a very good place, just hanging out, no hassle, no work to do, no nothing. If you keep his body comfortable, if you make sure he's not getting bed sores and this and that, actually he may be in a very comfortable space. The only one who suffers is… really suffers is, body has become a vegetable, mind is fully alert and active. Now this one will suffer unless he also comes to terms and becomes very meditative within himself. If he arrives at such a thing, it can become a great place for him, spiritually. Because now all these people's problem is, now they're all able to sit and meditate for hours. Their only problem is the goddamn legs and their back. If they didn't have this, they would sit like this for days, isn't it? So those problems have been removed for him. No sensation in the legs, no sensation in the back. If he arrives at it, which I believe they will, if I spend a little time with them, I would tell you whether they've arrived or not. If they arrive at it, it can be most productive spiritually. No body, but an alert mind, wow. It's a meditator's dream. Isn't it? Body is the one that's bothering you, isn't it? Initial phases, mind is the torture, but once you deal with it, the only problem is, this is the only thing. You didn't have a body, an alert mind. It's a very good thing, but lot of human beings may suffer that terribly because their whole life has been always comparing themselves with somebody else. Somebody is walking, so they'll suffer. Somebody is talking, so they'll suffer. They can't walk, they can't talk, they can't do what somebody else is doing, so they'll suffer. Even now, when everything is well also people are suffering because somebody has 1,000,000 which they don't have, they're suffering. Somebody has that, they don't have, they're suffering, isn't it? So that same pattern may continue with them. If they get out of that pattern, actually, it can be a really fantastic place to be. No body problems, mind is fully alert. We could initiate them. I'm not saying this with any disregard for their condition. Actually, it can work out very well for him. If nothing else can be done by the medical professionals, it could work out phenomenally well for them. Just lying down, constantly alert mind, it could do wonders. I'm talking in this vein because I'm only looking at no matter what the hell happens to your life, you must know how to make it into an advantage, not into a disadvantage. Because what may happen to you is not 100% controlled by you, but what you make out of it is 100% yours, isn't it? So if such a thing happened, let's make a capital out of that also.
The boundless reality is referred to as Shiva. The greatest of the yogis has been referred to as Shiva. His dance is referred to as Shiva, his music is referred to as Shiva, his stillness is referred to as Shiva. But of all this, he being a yogi is of the greatest importance in terms of opening up a door of possibility for every other human being. Somebody may be many things, but for the world, that dimension which is a possibility for the world is the most important thing. So he being a yogi is the most important thing. Being a yogi means many things. One aspect of a yogi is that he sleeps in his wakefulness and is awake in his sleep. That this must be fully awake, but if you check the parameters of the body, it must be asleep. In sleep, everything should be asleep, but you must be awake. Your body should sleep, your mind should sleep, everything should sleep, but you must be awake.
When you fast asleep, you are in perfect tune with the existence, one with the existence, isn't it? Nature has given you this. If you've forgotten, every day when you go to sleep, it makes you one with the existence. In the same sense of unity, if you can wake up and walk around, you made it, isn't it? Every day, you have free enlightenment when you go to sleep. But the problem is you're unconscious. So the sadhana essentially is just this, that from wakefulness when you go to sleep, a certain part of you goes to sleep, a certain part of you, if it still stays awake, then you made it. Otherwise, when you wake up, a certain part of you still continues to sleep, then you made it.
If you're awake and fast asleep at the same time, you're asleep and awake at the same time, this is called Turya. If you are in a state of Turya, we say you're a Mrutyunjay. That means you're deathless. Because if you can be awake in your sleep, you will also be awake when you have to shed the body. So there is no question of death for such a person. Because life and death are happening at the same time. It is only the ignorant who think, right now I'm alive and one day I will die. No, both are happening at the same time. They are not two different things actually, only for the sake of understanding, we have to divide them. Otherwise, it's just life and life. One dimension of life and another dimension of life. So this transition between from one dimension of life to another becomes an easy doorway. Every day you have this doorway available to you, that is, between wakefulness and sleep is as good as life and death. If you know how to exploit this doorway, if you stay alert till that last moment,
Do you ever know when you actually slept off? Hmm? You think you're there, but after some time, you don't know when you slept. If you can take yourself to that moment, it's as good as being conscious at the moment of death. You master your mortality if you just manage to stay awake when you slip into sleep.
See, this is an opportunity for you. The best preparation for death is make an attempt to try to fall asleep consciously. Instead of drifting away, if you shift from wakefulness to sleep consciously, death will become a play. So, the moment of sleep is a tremendous opportunity. If you sleep in a certain way, tomorrow morning when you wake up, you can be significantly one notch up. Every day you have this opportunity to practice death. If you can manage that moment, like, you can do this consciously, right? Just like that, from wakefulness to sleep. If you can do it that way, that's it, you're Mrutyunjay, because there's no death for you.